What? Steak doesn't come in pink or blue. Hence the cookie. Pink or blue, hence the cookie. That's true. Okay. So we're going to get back to being focused now. We're going to get it together. I looked through the mystery person's book. No one's group was super concerning except one group that is not done with 1.2. I don't know if they pretended they were, but they're really not. So you know what group you are, and if you're not sure, you can ask me. There is one group that is not completely done with 1.2. I need one of them. I need the mystery person that I graded in that group to at least finish the writing in there. Everyone else seemed to be done. It was not you. I didn't grade you. You weren't here yesterday. Okay, everyone else seems to be completely done with 1.2, which means today we can start 1.3. I know some of you started it yesterday. If you started it yesterday, by golly, why don't you finish the whole thing? You had a thought, you were rolling with it, finish it. If you didn't start 1.3 yesterday, our goal is number 6, but seriously, once you figure out, and I think Zach and Lloyd would agree, once you figure out number 1 and what you're going to do, the rest of the answers kind of fall from there. So if you figure out your strategy for this. So let's go ahead and open our book to 1.3 so we can look at it together and talk about how we're changing things. So just as a reminder, 1.1 was the bridge with the flashlight, how to get them all across in the shortest time, and the shortest time was 17 minutes. 1.2 was the avalanche. We've been stuck on it for 3 days because it was a serious avalanche. The first day, it was just a man, a pack, a youth, and a boy. And then the next day, the darn man gained weight, bless his heart, and you had to rethink your life and revamp your plan. And then yesterday was the most unrealistic day of them all because there was a giant. I completely agree if there's a giant in this whole thing is moot because obviously there's magic and other stuff going on. But regardless, we were rolling with it. There was one group, so let's look at 1.3. Let's look at it. So 1.3 says testing water samples. And then, does yours start off with that king?
Yes.
Okay. That king of dastardly deeds, the pink pumpernickel, has committed a terrible crime. And the master water inspector for the town just learned that the pink pumpernickel has poisoned the water in a water tower. But there are 8 towers in the surrounding area, and we do not know which one he infected. The water must be tested so that the affected water can be turned off. The master water inspector only has one testing machine, stupid. And that testing machine takes 1 full day to perform a test. If the test comes up positive for poison, positive in a bad way, like you're going to die, then you know the water you put in the testing machine is infected, otherwise it is clean. So then,
Miss Compton.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, is Jacob Wyatt in there?
He is.
Can you send him to the attendance window for just a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, it says, let's investigate how many days it will take for the master water inspector to be sure he will find the contaminated water. Okay, what is the maximum number of days possible? 8, because there are 8 water towers, it could take you 8 days. So my gosh, if you're not figuring out less than 8, you've got a problem. I know that there is a way to do it with 4, but again, as long as you've got an explanation as to how you're doing it. I know group 2 and 3 had like a mixing system they were going to do, like maybe you put 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, and then, I don't know, you can mix the samples. That was the question they had yesterday, and I don't know if I fully addressed it for them. It is okay to mix the samples because that darn machine takes forever. So as long as you keep up with what samples you mix, you could eventually figure out which tower was the issue. Okay, otherwise that one is pretty easy. There are only 9 questions total. Am I crazy? Are there more? Yeah, there are only 9 questions total, so you could theoretically finish it today. But my goal is 6. If you can finish it, which I know Lloyd and Zaxford can because they started it yesterday. If you can finish it, do finish it. We've talked about there are logic puzzles all week. Let me get the ones from. Have you done, most people have turned in their fruit one. Taylor's not here to point it out, but it's okay if I don't have your puzzle until Friday. Most people have not turned in the animal lovers. That was yesterday. And, of course, you haven't turned in this one because you didn't have it yet. The new one for today, which I'll put on the red stool, well, actually, Zach will put it on the red stool for me, is the line leader logic puzzle. But there's still one left after that. So if you and your group is done with everything and just wants to logic puzzle it out, you sure can. And then I'm kind of forgetting to do something, aren't I?
Yeah, we need that.
Don't we need to go over this math workshop? Okay, so let's go over this math workshop, and then you can do all your work. And as long as you're not hot on my nerves, we can all go to a 5. In fact, if you want to circle the 5 and go straight there, you can. But if you're on my nerves, I'm moving you down, and you know what I mean by that. Okay. I'm surprised Tyler didn't think I was looking at him. He always thinks I'm out to get him. Okay, number 4. Someone want to help me with that and get their group in this bonus territory? Yes, dear.
You can pull out an 18x.
Very good. And what would you be left with?
You put in parentheses negative 2x plus 1.
Perfect. You could have been rebellious, it happens, and pulled out a negative 18x, and you would have had 2x minus 1 if you wanted to think differently. That's okay. But I would have done what Zach did. Someone in a different class period just wanted to factor out 6 or 9. We're wanting the biggest thing possible. 18 is the biggest number possible, so that's why it's 18. Okay, Madeline, you were already jumping on number 5, so go ahead.
I'm going to take out 8x cubed.
Okay, and what would you be left with?
X to the 6.
Okay.
Plus 2x minus 1.
Perfect. That looks great. Are there any questions about that one? If we question Madeline's sanity, which normally she's on it, but maybe we should, we could always check her and distribute 8x to the 3rd times x to the 6th. We'd add those exponents and get 8x to the 9th. 8x to the 3rd times 2x. Now 8 times 2 is 16. 3 plus 1 is 4, so 16x to the 4th. She's not crazy yet. Negative 1 times 8x to the 3rd is negative 8x to the 3rd, so she is completely sane this go around. So that was great. And so your table can be at a 6. Madeline, your table can be at a 6. Anyone at the last one? No other table likes going in this bonus territory? We're just going to let table 2 rack up on all the points today? Yes, table 1. If you factor out a 5x, what are you left with? Now we're going to question whether or not Jackie's crazy. Let's see. 5x squared times x to the 3rd, y squared. Nope, she's right on that one. 5 times 2 is 10. X times x is x squared, so 10x squared y. Yep, she's good on that one. And then 5x times 5 is 25x, so she is completely sane as well. So her can also be at extra points. Okay, the back